Hi guys, today I've got a video for you which is a little different to my normal F1 content. Today I'm taking a look at the GT Omega Apex wheel stand. I'm going to show you my full unboxing and assembly of this wheel stand as well as my long-term review. My goal is that hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a slightly better idea whether the GT Omega Apex wheel stand is right for you or not, and whether you should buy this wheel stand right away, wait for a sale or not bother at all. And if you don't get that, then at least you get to watch me look like a tit trying to assemble it. If you've ever heard of GT Omega, they're a company which is renowned for manufacturing some of the best wheel stands and sim rigs around. I've had the pleasure of trying out some of the more complete sim rigs that they make, and almost all of them are fantastic. So when GT Omega sent me this wheel stand to try out, I had high expectations, and boy were they met. In a nutshell, if you don't have time to watch this whole video, the GT Omega Apex wheel stand is a supremely sturdy stand which allows for relatively easy storing away once you're done racing. It performs well under testing with very little shaking or wobbling and is able to handle almost any racing wheel. So I would recommend picking this up all day long if you're looking for a versatile wheel stand. So, summary over. If you do have time to stick around, I'm going to dive into the good and bad points about the stand in a bit more detail. If you want to hear about a certain part of the wheel stand, I'll have timestamps in the description below so you can flick through the video with ease. And if you're liking what you hear so far, please drop this video a like, and why not even subscribe to our channel for a whole host of F1 and sim racing content. So let's jump straight in and talk about the unboxing and setup. When the Apex wheel stand first arrived at my door, I soon realised how well built its stand was. The box, although not too large in size, was a heavy beast. I almost put my back out just carrying it from the door to my lounge. Unboxing and constructing the wheel stand was a relatively simple affair. The wheel stand as a whole comes almost completely assembled, and all you really need to do is install the feet, wheel plate and shifter mount. And all of those parts are easily fitted with a few nuts and screws. This was one of the simplest construction jobs I've undertaken in a while, so fair play to GT Omega on the design. All of the mounting plates come pre-drilled with plenty of options to mount your racing wheel, and it is fully compatible with all brands of racing wheel. I had both a Logitech G923 and a direct drive base mounted to this wheel stand over time. Both were relatively easy to mount, although I'd highly recommend hard mounting your equipment with screws, but I'll come to that later in the video. After I'd finished constructing the GT Omega Apex, I quickly ran into my first issue. I found it extremely hard to find a comfortable racing position. The way that the Apex wheel stand is designed means you have to sit in a fairly upright driving position or have extremely short legs. And personally, I struggle to get the wheel over my lap enough and the pedals far enough away to feel truly comfortable. This is a problem with almost all wheel stands I've used and isn't isolated solely to the GT Omega wheel stand. But the way the chassis is designed to adjust means that to get the wheel closer to my chest, I had to raise it up at the same time. This meant I either had to have the wheel at the right height but too far away, or at the right distance but too high. In the end, all of my driving with this wheel stand was done with the wheel sitting just a little higher than I was comfortable with, meaning I had to raise the height of my gaming chair to suit. I wasn't using the GT Omega rear extension and chair attachment that is an additional option, so it would be interesting to see if both of these options increase comfort at all. Another ever so slight gripe I had was with the wheel mount, which features angle adjustments. And this angle adjustment caused a few hairy moments while racing hard. On a couple of occasions, mainly when drifting fairly aggressively, the angle adjustment on the wheel plate came loose, causing the whole wheel to move. This happened to me twice, causing me to have to over-tighten the bolt to hopefully eliminate any future occurrences of this. The steel frame that this wheel stand is constructed with is extremely strong and heavy. This premium material, along with a great product design, make for one sturdy wheel stand. In terms of the build quality itself, all parts, from the chassis to the nuts and bolts that hold it together, are of great quality. When constructing the stand, all bolts simply slid into place and there was never a feeling of lack of quality anywhere. There is also a shifter mount included, which isn't always the case with some sim rigs, and there's an extremely good attention to detail with elements such as cable tidies which are very well thought out. In terms of out and out stability, the Apex performed extremely well, especially compared to an all-in-one rig such as the Playseat Evolution, which I did have set up right next to this wheel stand. Where the Playseat suffers from extreme flexing under pressure, the Apex remained deadly still. This was especially noticeable when comparing pedal plates. The Playseat's pedal plate flexes heavily when you stamp on the brake pedal, where the GT Omega's Apex pedal plate doesn't move an inch. It utilises a design where the pedal plate is heavily supported from underneath, stopping any movement. And the entirety of the chassis sits relatively squat, with the weight low to the ground and a good amount of support for the higher regions. This means that chassis flex is almost completely non-existent. In my playtesting, I threw a lot of this wheel stand, including a direct drive wheel and a lot of drifting. Drifting is always a good test for a sim rig, as you're routinely throwing the wheel about, using its full 900-degree rotation. Often, with other wheel stands, during drifting you'll find that the stand has a tendency to rock from side to side under fast motions. But the Apex did not rock one bit, and this is a testament to its design. As I mentioned right at the beginning of this review, the Apex comes pre-drilled with mounting points for all main brand racing wheels, meaning compatibility is extremely good. There are options to hard mount a wide variety of equipment on the wheel stand, pedal plate and shifter mount, although the shifter mount isn't overly well designed in my opinion. When trying to mount my Logitech shifter to the plate, it simply wouldn't grip. This is due to the shifter having a rim that runs around the whole plate, meaning that the inbuilt grips on the shifter just couldn't grip at all. Every time I pulled a shift into second, fourth or sixth, the whole shifter would come away from the mounting plate, and in the end I had to hard mount the shifter to the plate to make sure the issue was completely gone. When it comes to wheel stands being strong enough to support direct drive wheels, I'm always apprehensive. I've routinely hurt my arm using a direct drive wheel just by racing too long or cranking the force feedback up too high. And even on fully integrated sim rigs, direct drive wheels have shaken the stand apart. That's just how strong they can be. Although, in my experience so far, I've been extremely surprised at how well the stand performs. Due to the wheel stand being designed in a way where each of the four legs are well spaced apart, forces are evenly distributed across the whole chassis, meaning there's very little flex or wobble. The wheel plate, which the DD1 was mounted to, sits relatively low and tight against the main chassis, meaning it isn't too much of a weak spot as long as it's tightened well. When it comes to the end of a long race session, packing this wheel stand away is an easy affair. All you have to do is loosen the pedal plate and the whole stand will start to fold. You won't be able to fold the stand completely flat, but it'll get very close, meaning that you can easily rest it against a wall or in a cupboard, freeing up space in your room. You can even fold this wheel stand away with your racing wheel and pedals still attached. This makes the whole process of setting up for a race or storing away for the night very easy. Of course, with your racing wheel still mounted to the wheel stand, the folded away width does increase as you'll have your wheel and pedals sticking out a little. But the fact that you can so easily store everything away without having to disconnect your whole rig is extremely beneficial. So, all in all, is the GT Omega Apex wheel stand worth buying? When it comes to looking at everything this wheel stand offers, it's extremely hard to not recommend it to anybody looking to buy a compact wheel stand. It supports every branded racing wheel, performs extremely well with almost zero flex and movement, which many other wheel stands do suffer from, and it can be stored away in less than about 30 seconds. It ticks all the boxes that the wheel stand should, so all in all, I'd highly recommend picking up a GT Omega Apex wheel stand. I'll leave a link in the description below to the online store where you can pick one of these up, and as always, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and why not subscribe to the channel for more sim racing content. Until next time folks.